welcome guests, advisory committee members, family, co-workers, Southeast Regional Credit Union School alumni and faculty. To start our evening, I would like to invite Derek Chambliss to join me up on stage for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please allow me to provide a little bit of background for our debate. Our Southeast Regional Credit Union School debate is a distinctive characteristic that sets this school apart from the other CUNA management schools around the country. We also follow a long history of debate at our venue, the University of Georgia. The Demosthenian Literary Society, which is primarily involved in debating, was founded at this campus in February of 1803. Demosthenian Hall is the fourth oldest building on campus and is on the National Register of Historic Places. In 1820, due to a schism, the Phi Kappa Literary Society was founded. The Phi Kappa Hall was built just across the quad in 1826 and is the seventh oldest building at UGA. With the exception of a few years during the Civil War, as stated on the historical marker near UGA's iconic arch, these two societies have been debate rivals in the spring of every year. So with our SRCUS debate, we are in great and historical company. Our debate has several objectives. It allows our students to explore all the sides of a topical and controversial topic for credit unions today. It provides an opportunity for our students to hone their skills in research, analysis, presentation, and negotiation. It provides a demonstration of the skill and knowledge building that occurs here at SRCUS. Previous debate topics have explored such interesting and controversial topics as financial institutions should drop the term credit union from their names. Larger credit unions should subsidize smaller credit unions. And last year's topic, which was boards of directors should have term limits. Our topic for the 2019 Southeast Regional Credit Union School follows this tradition. Tonight's debate topic is incentives do more harm than good to the credit union movement. The format for tonight's debate is as follows. We'll start with constructive speeches, first affirmative, followed by a 2-minute cross, then negative for 5 minutes, followed by a 2-minute cross. Then we'll have our second affirmative and cross, and our second negative and cross. We'll have a 15-minute break, and I'll announce that, and then we'll have rebuttal speeches. Then the rebuttal speeches will be 5 minutes each, starting with negative and then the affirmative team. Our judges tonight are the women and men that make up our impressive first-year class of the Southeast CUNA School, the class of 2021. A few notes A couple notes for our judges. As you prepare your minds for the debate, try to set aside any preconceived notions you have for the topic. The idea is to think about the arguments they're making and try to recognize which one made the best argument for their side. Listen diligently and pay careful attention to the points and counterpoints made by each debater. Finally, vote based on the ability of the respective teams to argue their case. With that, I invite Tara Bro to begin the 2019 Southeast Region CUNA Management School Debate.
A team of bank managers from New Jersey have been doing very well in the sales arena. They were transferred into Georgia to help improve sales. Shortly after arriving, branches saw drastic improvements in their sales. At this time, this bank was paying incentives on a 96-day average checking balance. The local sales reps were instructed to change savings accounts to checking accounts on day 94, and then change them back on day 98. Dramatic increases were seen. The corporate office began an investigation. Account holders were unaware of incentives that were being paid on their accounts. The sales reps began telling other regions of their successes, and roughly 75 sales reps were terminated in the aftermath of these incentives. Yet the managers from New Jersey claimed no knowledge. All this took place in less than 1 year. There's no surprise that this bank, Wachovia, has a reputation of not having the customer's best interest in mind. Good evening and welcome to the 2019 SRCUS Debate. On behalf of my fellow third-year students, I'd like to thank you. Thank you to SRCUS faculty, thank you my fellow third-year students, second-year students, and new first-year students, and also a hello and special welcome to you watching on Facebook Live. We are here from many different credit unions for tonight's debate, and it's just that, a debate. But imagine that you were tasked with deciding a final piece of a new credit union's makeup, incentives. In evaluating that decision, consider that incentives in the credit union do more harm than good. Tonight I'm going to present points supporting why incentives do more harm than good in credit unions. First, I will define incentive. Next, I will show you that it leads to employees prioritizing the incentive over the member relationship. And lastly, we'll talk about the toxic culture that's created by incentives. First, as defined in the CUNA 2017-2018 salary survey, incentive means rewards based on a preset performance criteria. Now that you know what the debate is about, I'll offer the framework to determine how to adjudicate if incentives do more harm than good. Your vote should go to the team that shows more harm to the credit union, the members, the employees. We will prove that incentives do more harm than good. And continuing on with my points. Employees prioritize the incentive over the member relationship. David Toyo, former CFO and COO of Power Financial Credit Union, stated that his staff was incentivized for everything. Yeah, credit union, credit life, credit disability, member referrals, number of products, number of cross sales, everything. But what they were missing was the member's best interest. Nothing was done to the members' value. Alan Krendel, their CEO, came in 2013 and said the most basic understanding of the incentives was simply, do this, get this. But at the cost of what else? He was running a whole engine, tracking and paying incentives, dedicated only to that, but the resources and the time that it was taking was no value added. In January of 2015, Power Financial removed the incentives. In the year following, their loan growth remained or was higher than their peers. Their share growth jumped 15%. Loan volume per household was up 50%, and loan applications doubled. The most compelling increase was the internal satisfaction survey, an increase of 20% on the internal satisfaction. Their growth just proves that incentives were unnecessary. And incentives create a toxic, destructive culture. Team members become adversaries. The culture shifts to my win equals your loss. The team is lost, and each employee is vying for that referral or sale to get the incentive with little or no regard to the interest of their member. Let me leave you with an example. Paul, a backup loan officer for his credit union, has worked there for many years. Joe, a very loyal member, comes into the credit union and asks for Paul. Joe was there to finance a new truck. He'd already been to the dealership, picked out his truck, it was being detailed, he was in a hurry. We all have members like that, right? Well, the loan officer was out to lunch. So Paul went ahead and took care of everything, got the loan approved, went ahead, closed the loan, got the document signed, even got a gap policy, even though he wasn't eligible for that incentive. After lunch, the loan officer returned. Paul went ahead and gave that documentation over, and he was immediately reprimanded. Paul was stunned. He said, so you want me to turn our member away? The member who asked for me, you wanted to get that claim of the gap? You wanted to make the incentive? You would want me to not do what's best for my member? This just shows that's against our credit union philosophy of people helping people. Remember that credit unions are not for profit, not for service, not for charity, but we're for service. We're for service. Let me re-emphasize that. Our credit union philosophy is not for profit, but for service. Incentive program contradicts that philosophy by placing sales over service.
You mentioned that you feel rewards and incentives place a priority on the incentive more than just the service, correct?
Yes.
Then you also gave prime examples of things that the credit union offers that directly benefit the member, such as gap coverage, life and disability coverage, member service scores. If we prioritize net promoter scores that focus on member service, we offer gap products that directly benefit the member by protecting them in the case of a vehicle accident. How is that not people helping people? How is that not?
That question.
Yeah.
These are definitely services that we want to offer to our membership, but we want to offer them because it's the right thing to do.
Thank you for your
These
answer.
are products that are good for the membership.
Thank you. I would like to emphasize, though, that we have a industry that's focused on younger team members coming in, right? So how would you encourage those team members to continue promoting those products? Should we be able to reward their hard work?
Well, sure, when you're going to bring in new employees, you're going to pay them for their job. That's part of their job, is to embrace the culture of people helping people, not for profit and not
Thank
for...
you. So if they go above and beyond, and they go and they do the extra mile, shouldn't we be able to pay them the extra mile? And
Certainly we can reward employees for doing a good job. That's what bonuses are for.
That's still incentive pay.
No, a bonus is just because you've done a good thing. An incentive would be directly related to that product, and we don't think that that's a good idea. If it's directly related to that product, let's talk about a checking account that's open and never used. That's costing the credit union.
It is, but it's also benefiting the member.
Oh, not always. Do you have any other questions?
I don't, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pearson, Service Board, for allowing us to be here tonight. Thank you, first, second, third year students for joining us. First year, I hope you've enjoyed your time here in Athens. The entire second year class has worked hard and diligently all year to ensure you and the third years have a wonderful experience. We are here tonight to debate if incentives do more harm than good to the credit union movement. The answer is no. Incentives do not cause more harm than good to the credit union movement. So what is the credit union movement? The League of Southeastern Credit Unions and Affiliates has on their website that the credit union movement began as a simple idea. That people could achieve a better standard of living for themselves and others by pooling their savings and making loans to neighbors and coworkers. The philosophy of the credit union movement is not for profit, not for charity, but for service. Most credit unions pay an incentive in some fashion already, whether they call it an incentive or not. Incentives create opportunities to promote our members' economic and social well-being, and sometimes, depending on the incentive, additional income for the credit union. This income can be used to reinvest in infrastructure, technological advances, and better products and services. Oftentimes, the additional income is reinvested in the community, given to charities, or used to fund scholarships. Some credit unions even offer a rebate annually when financially possible. When a credit union implements an incentive program, the member reaps the greatest reward. Any employee who feels valued and appreciated will give the best member service imaginable. They will go above and beyond to make sure the member benefits from all the products and services. When they receive this level of service, that is a win for the member, it is a win for the credit union, it is a win for the employee. Webster's Dictionary defines an incentive as something that incites or has a tendency to incite determination or action. In other words, it is a motivation tool. Incentives are used to motivate staff to promote a product or service that can save members time or money. They are used to motivate members to give us an opportunity to deliver exceptional member service. Everyone wants to feel valued and appreciated. They want to know that you care about their well-being. A properly structured and managed incentive program can do just that. It gives the credit union an opportunity to show the employees and members that they do value, appreciate, and care for them. Incentive programs allow credit unions to reward employees for their positive contribution to the member. It rewards the members for their positive contribution to the credit union. This collaborative mindset of giving back has kept credit unions alive in the world for over almost 170 years. My credit union offers a program called Sit to Save. We tell the membership that if we cannot save you money on your loans, if we cannot save your money by bringing your loans to our credit union from other institutions, then we give you $25 for your time. We're incentivizing the member to give us an opportunity to help them save money. In the first year of the program, we saved our membership over $1 million in savings over the life of their loans. Is that not a testament to the credit union movement of people helping people? No one up here is going to tell you that incentives do not have the potential to hurt an institution. An incentive program is a program. It requires management, just like every other program we have. What would happen if we did not manage our lending program? What would happen if we did not manage our title lines? Chaos would ensue. Our purpose is to help our membership in all things that we do. Over the course of the week, we polled the first and second year classes. We asked how many of you work for a credit union that pays an incentive. A very large majority of you do. So ask yourself, are all these credit unions wrong? Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. You work in IT, correct? With being in IT, sometimes things happen that are outside of our control. Similarly, in a branch, we do not control everything that happens or the membership that walks in. How would you like it if your pay was based on things that are outside of your control?
I think it is in your control. If you're looking at,
All right, well, you said earlier that you like to incite action, right? So sometimes, whatever you have in the grant plan, cherry picking happens. You're inciting an action of a member or employee to help a certain member over another one. How would you account for this?
can you repeat that?
So you mentioned inciting an action, that an incentive plan incites action. In some of these cases, it incites cherry picking. How would you prevent that from happening?
Management. It requires management. If you want this program to be successful, any incentive program requires management for it to be successful and be what the members
All right, great. Okay, thank you. Would you consider basic cognitive skills to be important for branch staff to be successful?
Sure.
Great, I'm glad that we agree. The Federal Reserve Bank hired a firm to conduct research on the effectiveness of reward programs. This research was conducted in the U.S. and abroad. When the task called for basic cognitive skills, a small reward had zero effect on performance. In 8 of 9 tasks, higher incentives led to worse performance. With this information, how can you continue to justify incentive programs?
People helping people.
How are you going to justify worse performance to your board once you institute this incentive program?
If you have a properly managed program, you're not going to be reporting to your board at that program. It's going to do everything that members need.
Everybody having fun yet? Remember, the debate topic is vote for that incentives do more harm than good for credit unions. As Tara mentioned, we discussed that incentive causes a toxic environment in credit unions. They also make staff ineffective. What I'm going to do today is put together a framework that talks about how incentives make your staff ineffective. I will then discuss 2 halves of the same world and how incentive incentives are ineffective, two halves of the same world. In 2002, I accepted a position as a personal banker at Wells Fargo. When I started there, they had excellent training, and it was voted the best place to work. The role of the personal banker was to use the financial priority worksheet to help build a relationship by asking questions, not pushing product. In 2005, as an industry, plans changed. The role of the personal banker in 2005, plans changed. They focused on individual sales, not teamwork. In 2008, they formed the Plan 2 of 8. And the way that worked as a personal banker, each personal banker was responsible for opening 2 checking accounts and opening 8 additional products each day. Unfortunately, if you did not meet this quota, you had to stay for a call night. And with that call night, you had to get preset appointments for the next day to help meet your goals. Once again, with this plan, there was no change in the success of those goals. Also, in 2008, they started the product of the day. With the product of the day, you are required or instructed to sell a product to meet that particular goal. As a credit union, are we going to be a conveyor belt of products, just pushing products for the sake of the product of the day? In 2015, the average tenure of a personal banker at Wells Fargo was 8 months. Maximum sales to each member was the transactional request. It was not about building relationships. The philosophy was coach them up or coach them out. I remember one of the last coaching sessions I had with my boss. She said, "I'm not your friend, I'm not your pal, I'm your boss. If you don't hit your sales, I'll find someone else who can." As you can imagine, I found another job. The world at United Federal Credit Union. It was all about teamwork. It was about helping members. It was working together to reach our goals. We had the ability, since there was no quota to meet, no number to hit, to take our time and build a relationship with our members. So when they did have a need, they would think of us first. At the credit union, we were very effective at meeting the branch's goals without an incentive plan. There was no sales meeting of what I did good, what I did wrong, areas of improvement. There was no stress about me worrying about losing my job because I didn't hit a certain number. It was about taking care of our member. Every Thursday, we had Thank You Thursday, where employees were rewarded for going the extra mile, not what product they sold. There was no stress at the end of the month of where am I at number-wise. Do I need to worry about my job? Do I need to look for a new job? Because at the end of the day, and at the end of the month, it was all about taking care of our members. When members are taken care of, there's no sales pitch. There's no magic product that they don't have that we will sell to them. We're about making a difference with our members. The toxic environment of incentives are an unfortunate task that our members, as well as our employees, shouldn't have to deal with. It should be about doing the right thing. What does a person who owns half of the world want? The other half. People are not intentionally bad and great competition, and the people are the people. At best, incentives are unnecessary. At worst, we make a toxic work environment. Once again, please vote that incentives do more harm than good. Thank you.
You spoke basically your entire speech on what happened at Wells Fargo, which was, as you pointed out, well known that situation arose from the very beginning, improper management and quotas that were set up with fear tactics, not based on a reward-based incentive program for positive contributions. How are you comparing apples and oranges?
What happens if your branch doesn't perform? What are you going to implement to make sure you hit the goals?
Coaching strategies to
What
build up
happens-
their skills.
What happens if coaching doesn't work? What are you going to resort to? Are you going to put people's job on the line?
No, we're not Wells Fargo. Thank you. Another question. We've already polled first and second years and found that the vast majority of these credit unions offer incentive programs through bonus pay, sales incentives, however it may be. Do you really feel that all of these credit unions, myself included, are doing harm to the movement?
Once again, you talked about coaching.
Do you feel that all of these credit unions are doing harm to the movement because they have incentive plans?
Once again, you discussed coaching.
But my direct question, do you feel that these credit unions are doing harm to the movement? All of these credit unions that we pull, do you feel that they're doing harm?
No,
You don't.
I do not.
And that's a direct contradiction to your argument here today.
Your question was about coaching. You're basically, what I was talking about, Wells Fargo, is that your job was on the line because you didn't hit a quota. And you're saying that coaching, what happened to coaching is ineffective? What happened
I'd like to steer it back, please. So you're here tonight, right?
Yes.
You said your credit union doesn't offer an incentive program.
That's correct.
But an incentive is a reward, right? It's a reward for good motivation, good contribution to your credit union. You're here tonight. We're all here tonight. Do you not feel that this is a reward for your contribution to your credit union, that you've been rewarded by given the opportunity to come to SRCUS? Are you doing harm to the movement by being here?
No, I'm not doing harm by doing here.
Okay, thank
But I
you.
want to basically everyone
Thank you.
to be able to want to come to work.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Hope everybody's having a good time tonight. So the question is, incentives do more harm than good to the credit union movement? As you are all aware, the credit union movement is a cooperative. Cooperatives are self-governing associations of people that work together for a common goal. Let me tell you about a cooperative called the Rockdale Pioneers from the 1800s. They were the first cooperative, and they were one of the first to pay a patronage dividend to its members and made available to its employees a minimum wage. This minimum wage was set by this cooperative 90 years before minimum wage became a law in the UK. Even in the 1800s, cooperatives were ahead of their time when providing pensions and good working conditions to their employees. The credit union movement was born from incentives. The first cooperative introduced incentives to members to provide better prices to the members and better wages for its employees. A few facts. According to the NCUA report of 1980, there were 46,517 credit unions in 1979. In 2016, there were only 5,757 remaining credit unions that survived closing and mergers. That is a decrease of 40,769 credit unions, which is approximately 88% decrease. That is a staggering decrease in credit unions in our nation. Incentives, if properly managed, can be a tool used to help credit unions. Incentives are what our members deserve for being a member of the credit union. There are many types of incentives that credit unions provide today, and that's better rates for our members, better dividends, and for our employees, we pay time off, bonus leave time, trips, conferences like SRCUS, and that's to find a better way to serve our members, and that's just naming a few of our incentives. The law of effect says that behavior is followed by a reward or incentive, and that will be repeated or not repeated according to the incentive. A properly managed incentive program will drive good behavior. Behavior that is beneficial to the member, credit union, and the movement. Josh mentioned motivation earlier. Let's look at motivation. Motivation is a behavior and a belief that a performance will be rewarded. Why would employees not believe that their performance would be rewarded? The motivational value of the incentive is directly related to the incentive itself. The National Association of Federally Insured Credit Unions blog of 2016 wrote, "Credit union incentive plans can be a useful tool to drive performance. The NCUA has recognized the need for incentives, and as of May 2019, 1 month ago, an article in the Credit Union Journal stated that the NCUA has a plan to move the credit union compensation into the 21st century. As Josh mentioned, any properly managed program includes incentives to drive behavior. Our greatest assets is our members and our employees. We need to take care of them. A well-managed incentive program is the way to do that. In order to do that, we need to give them opportunity to thrive. Incentives do that. This movement has proven to provide incentives to employees as well as their members. I ask you, where would we be without incentives? If there are no incentives to reinvest in our members and employees, then there will be no movement. We must keep this credit union movement alive. If you believe that incentives do not cause more harm than good to the credit union movement, vote the negative side. Thank you.
Thank you. So, in your opinion, do incentive plans always expedite the growth of a credit union?
Could you articulate that
So,
question again?
in your opinion, do incentive plans are they always for the good of credit?
One more time. Can you articulate
All right, next
that
question.
question again?
How do you ensure you are rewarding the correct behaviors and not those of someone gaming the system?
So properly managed programs
And how are you
provide.
ensure that they're properly managed?
I'm sorry.
How are you
cut
going
me
to
off.
ensure that they're properly managed?
By managing.
Okay, thanks for your specificness. All right, so we did a poll as well, and in the first year class, 3 credit unions, and in the third year class, 5 credit unions have stopped an incentive program due to abuse and the inability to show increased performance for the credit union. With this knowledge, how can you still promote an incentive program?
So promoting an incentive program, is that your question?
That's one of them, is how can you still promote it knowing that credit unions are turning away from incentive programs due to the harm they've done?
Because we believe incentives do not cause harm to the credit union movement.
Okay, I want you to think of the last time you were at a merchant, like Best Buy or Old Navy. When you reached the register, the employee likely asked, would you like to open a credit card with us today for a 10% discount? What was your initial emotional reaction? And how many times have you actually said yes?
Well, actually, my wife is an accountant, and she watches every dime. And we're on a tight budget. Or maybe I should say I'm on a tight budget. So whenever an incentive comes our way, we know it's for our better. And if we can save 10% at that register, you got my wife's attention. Thank you.
As we conclude tonight's debate, we again would like to thank Dr. Piercy, the SRCUS board and faculty, and especially the first, second, and third year students. As credit union employees, we are people helping people. This is the behavior we need to incentivize. Behaviors like understanding our members so that we understand the why behind their visits and make a positive impact. Incentives should directly benefit the membership at least as much as the employee who receives it. Our members are expecting more and more from their financial institutions, and as credit union employees, we need to be focused on their true needs and not only the transaction. How we treat our members is what will continue to differentiate us as a credit union. Through using incentives, we will in turn improve the economic and social well-being of our members and continue to promote the credit union movement. You've heard my teammates. Josh mentioned that properly managed incentives do good for the credit union movement because they can be used as an effective tool to enrich not only our employees' lives, but our members. Derek stated that we need to take care of our employees and members because they are our credit union's most valuable assets, and they need opportunities to thrive. A properly managed incentive program does just that. Incentives are good for employees, the movement, and members. The burden of proof is on our opponents to argue that incentives do more harm than good. They have not done that today. Firstly, they said employees value incentives over member relationship. This argument assumes that incentivized behavior is static and not subject to ongoing feedback or review. Incentive programs do not operate in a vacuum. They need to be continually evaluated to ensure that we reward the right behaviors and not the wrong. Secondly, they said incentives make staff ineffective. We all know a majority of the credit unions here offer incentives, and they don't work in a toxic environment. Incentives should be based upon individual and team efforts, with controls in place to prevent abuse. Audit programs will be utilized to ensure abuse does not occur, and a positive culture will promote a team mentality. Third, they said incentives create a toxic environment. This argument assumes that incentives are meant to harm employees if quotas are not met. With effective coaching and proper management, incentives can only help members and not harm them. They try to argue mismanaged incentive programs at banks. We're talking about credit unions, not banks. They also talked about very specific examples, but this debate is about incentives harming the movement, not individual credit unions. Lastly, they specifically admitted that incentives do not do more harm than good. Just look down at your desk. They gave you tomahawks and chicken filet this morning. Listen to this list of incentives. It's hard to argue that any of them do more harm than good to the credit union. Member referrals, year-end cash back to members, conferences, loan and product incentives, end-of-year bonuses. I could go on and on. Josh said earlier, when we hold the first-year class, a significant majority said that you pay incentives. Every single one of you in this room hasn't been incentivized by your credit union to attend SRCUS. Can you honestly say that being here is doing more harm than good to your credit union? If you agree with the arguments that my team has made tonight, we ask you to vote the negative side. Thank you.
Good evening. I want to first congratulate the second-year students for completing your first-year project. Good luck with your white paper presentations. To our first-year class, I'm so glad you have joined our SRCUS family. This unique experience is something you will never forget. It would be nice to take the time to reminisce about the journey these 3 years have been for me and my amazing third-year class. But as they say, the show must go on. Tonight, we have been given an opportunity to debate a topic we all feel very passionate about. Let me share a success story with you. State Employees Credit Union, located only in the state of North Carolina, is a $38 billion credit union. This may seem like an insignificant fact to the issue at hand, but let me assure you it is not. State Employees Credit Union's members have a common bond: state and public school employees and their family members. They provide a comprehensive line of low-cost products and services to meet the needs of their members, including no tiered sharing deposit rates, no risk-based lending, and no employee incentives. Doing the right thing is more than their slogan. It is the working principle of the second largest credit union in the world. With a very narrow membership set, competitive rates for all loan applicants, and zero incentives for their employees, their business plan demonstrates the proven credit union mission. With over 6,000 employees and a $38 billion asset, it is a fair estimate to say that their business model is working. While you may have heard our second-year students state that incentives programs could be effective if properly managed. This proves the incentives are already based on probability. Don't base your vote on the probability that these needs will be met. There's already issues there. Remember, incentives are defined by the employee prioritizing incentives over the member's needs. It is not having the better product, but incentivizing the employee for profit. Obviously, you don't need me to rehash all the details of this debate, but let me leave you with these thoughts. Are incentives the best outlet for employee morale? Do incentives keep the best interests of the member at heart? And by the example of the great leadership team at State Employees Credit Union, are incentives the only way our credit union mission can be consistent and grow our market? I could share several skewed opinions of credit unions that offer incentives, but instead of trying to drill those terrible judgments into your head for the sake of winning a debate, I would like to paint a picture. It's Monday morning. Traffic is stalled, coffee's on your shirt, someone called in, ding, there's a meeting you forgot at 9 a.m. You rush to the office and race to the restroom, avoiding eye contact with anyone. Suddenly, the employee that just gets under your skin walks by. We'll just call this employee Sam. Hoping Sam will be about their business, you see Sam headed straight to your direction. You look up, plaster a smile on your face, and prepare for the comments that will follow. But instead, Sam says, "Look like you need some help today. How about I get those files together for your meeting, and you take care of that stain on your shirt?" Wow, Sam is great. There is no reason why Sam should care about my meeting, my shirt, or even my well-being. Sam just saw the need and offered to help. We may not all work with the Sam, but I'm sure we all know someone who has stepped in, stepped up, and then stepped down without reward, recognition, or reimbursement. Someone, like our friends at State Employees Credit Union, that meets the needs of others because it's the right thing to do. At best, incentives are unnecessary for credit union growth. But at worst, we have proven they destroy our credit union culture and do more harm than good. In closing, let me share this thought. Have our credit unions entered into a movement of a sales-driven culture of risk, probability, and ifs? Or is our mission to continue being people helping people simply because it's the right thing to do? Thank you.